Today we're making 12 expandable coin envelopes from just 6 sheets of cardstock. They look like classic coin envelopes, but inside they open up into a multi-storage system. And I'm going to show you how to do this. Let's take a real quick look at the supplies you're going to need. First, you're going to need 6 sheets of double-sided cardstock, some book pages, typical things like glues, scissors, something to measure with. Not necessary, but I'm using my scoreboard and my cutter. And of course, our spells embellishment system. So the first thing we're going to do is let's cut and fold. You should be able to get 2 from this one sheet of paper. And what we're going to do is we're going to measure it out. This is 11.5 lengthwise. And so we're going to cut it at 5.5. And I'm going to trim off just a little bit of the white edge. When I was measuring it out, I left a little bit extra so that I could trim that off. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do is score. So I'm going to take my scoreboard and I'm going to score one sheet at 2 inches, and this is going to be a side panel. 4 7/8, and this is really easy to figure out because it's the line just before the 5. And then since my scoreboard is so small, I'm going to bring it over here. And the second one is going to be at 1 3/4. So that'll be right here. And then what I'm going to do is this last panel, I'm going to cut off because we're going to use that here in a minute. So I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to cut this piece right off. And then we're going to score a couple more places. So the first one is going to be on the base, and I'm going to score it at I'm going to score it at 1 inch. And then this piece that's left over, I'm going to score it at 3 inches, and that's going to be for my flap, and the leftover pieces are going to be used for my closure. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off as well. And then my last score is going to be to this small piece. And for that one, I'm going to score at 1/2 inch. Now I'm going to start with my base, and I'm going to go ahead and, I don't know if you can see it, but after I scored, it's going to leave a rectangle here and a rectangle here, and I'm going to cut out those rectangles. We're going to discard those. We won't use those pieces. There you go. And then I'm going to miter these edges right here, just like this. And it's just going to be a little tiny slice of a rectangle that I'm going to triangle that I'm going to take out of the base of this, because this is going to make my bottom tab. And then I'm going to just very easily just going to turn and round those corners. Now with my bone folder, I'm going to go ahead and fold on the creases that I made. And here I have the bottom portion of my envelope. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take the top piece that I had left over, and I'm going to use a cap, and I'm going to round that top off. So I'm just going to go ahead and trace this circle just like this, and all I did was line up this with the top edge and trace around the outside of that cap, and that's going to give me a nice little rounded flap. So now I'm just going to go ahead and cut that out. Just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and fold over the bottom flap and score. And then I'm going to trim it. I don't want it to be, I want to make sure that this corner edge is flush with the piece. And now I'm going to take it and I'm going to glue it right in here, so to the back of the base. If you notice, it's going to sit right here, and it's going to sit perfectly right in that little spot. Now what I'm going to do when I glue it is I'm going to move it down from that fold just a little bit, so that with wear and tear and usage it doesn't pull up. There's my crease, and here's where I'm going to set this piece. There, just like that. And now we have the full envelope. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my other piece and I'm going to fold it in half. This is the last little scrap piece. And what you can do if you don't have a punch, I have this little 1/2 inch punch. You can take a dime, and it's about the size of a dime. And I'm going to go ahead and cut 2, and then I'm going to cut an additional 2 for a total of 4 circles. And the reason why I have 4 circles is because I'm going to glue them together for stability. And that'll give me 2 pieces for my closure. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on this and glue these pieces together. Now I'm choosing to use the same color as my outer piece, but if you wanted to give it some more interest, you could always use the alternate side and it would look like that. So the sides that you choose to glue together are totally up to you. And I'm going to set those aside to dry. Okay, now we're going to take our book pages. And I have these book pages. And it's going to take 2 for each one. And we're going to make our accordion fold. And how we're going to do that is we're going to take one sheet. And I'm going to fold it just slightly over half. And it doesn't matter that this edge is ragged because we're going to glue it down. Then I'm going to take my second page and I'm going to glue it, I'm going to fold it to just about the center. And then I'm going to do the same to the other piece. I want to make sure that I check them so that they're the same size. So just a little over half, and then to the center. There, and if I lay them on top of each other, they should be just about the same size. So then I'm going to take my glue stick, because I'm gluing paper to paper, I can go ahead and use glue stick on this step. And I'm just going to run a line of glue right down the edge of the longer side so that the edge of the shorter side comes over the top and glues nicely over top of it, just like that. So once again, I'm just going to glue the longer edge, put glue on the longer edge, and then just fold the little shorter edge over the top and press down. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it in half. And if you notice, this is what's going to give me my pockets. And I'm going to do the same to the other piece. Now I'm going to measure these on the inside of my envelope, and I don't want it to come all the way up to here, up to the edge. I want to be able to leave an opening, and so this line right here, so that I don't have to measure, is really kind of a nice spot. And I'm just going to cut off the tops of these pockets right there at that line. And that way I don't have to measure, and it just kind of gives me a nice even cut. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue them together. Now the two pieces that go inside, the one piece that I'm folding, I'm going to glue the inside of this piece, and I'm just going to put a little shallow piece of glue just like this. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want the pockets to be able to open up all the way, and if I glue it all the way down, it won't have enough give. See how when I open this up, the pockets can expand? Well, if I glue it down, it's not going to be able to do that. So I'm going to do the same thing for this other pocket. Just a small piece there, and I'm going to glue it. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue them together, and I'm going to do the same method on the inside. I'm just going to grab a small piece on the inside, and I'm going to glue it, but this time I'm going to glue at the bottom as well. I'm not going to go all the way through the center, just top and bottom. And the reason being is that when I open up my pockets, I don't want the bottoms to pull away from each other. I want it to hold together just like this. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a line all the way down of glue so that I can glue it to the inside of our coin envelope. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this just above that fold line, because I want this to be able to fold up and over the top. And so by folding it up and over the top, that's a good way to check to make sure that you've got everything in alignment when you press it down and glue it down. There we have it. You've got your accordion fold pockets that are going to open up straight from the inside of your coin envelope. Now, because I didn't want to mess with doing a bunch of cutting, I have some labels, and these labels are going to end up being the inside pockets. So I'm just going to grab just one of these labels, any label, just like this. And I'm going to glue it down here. I'm going to glue two sides, and that's going to leave an area for a pocket right there. You can hide little notes, tickets, you name it. And this one's going to come all the way down, and I'm going to set it just right above that same crease because we want it to be able to shut. And so now, if you look, I've glued it, and now I have a pocket. And now I'm going to do the same with the other side. I have some small pretty butterflies, and I'm going to put one here and a larger one down here. Let me see if I can find, oh, let me use this one. This one looks a little nicer because it's a little more contrast so you can see it. And I'm going to do the same with this. I'm going to go ahead and just glue the sides and the bottom, not the top. And I'm going to set it down for a pocket. And now the bottom butterfly label is going to serve the same purpose. So not only did this eliminate a lot of cutting and measuring, but it's going to help when I go to do my mask making as well. So there we have 2 pockets on one side, a pocket on the other side, and 4 pockets on the inside. Who knew that a little coin envelope would be able to have so many pockets? Now we're going to put the closure on. So I have my little pieces here, and I'm going to use my awl. And I'm just going to put this right where I want it. I'm going to put it kind of in the center, and I'm going to poke a hole right through the middle of that. And then I have some of these mini brads in my spells bucket. And I'm going to put this little tiny brad. It came out of my edging bucket, and I'm going to put it right through the center. And I'm going to put it down. Since we're not tucking anything in here and there isn't anything that would get in the way, there's no need to cover the brad. The same with the top piece, and I'm going to do the same on the top. I'm just going to look for the center or for where I want it. I'm going to put it a little bit higher because I'm going to embellish the edge of this, and I want to be able to make sure that I have room to put stuff on it. And then I'm just going to press right through the center. And I'm going to put the brad in. And I'm going to flatten out my edges. There. And now we have the policy closure, the discs for the policy closure on here. Just like this. And now all we have to do is put the string. So I think for this one, I think I'm going to put a green one on this one. So in my bucket, I've got some floss. This is 18 inches in length. You can make it shorter or longer if you want. I felt it was a good length. There we go. And I just made a little loop, and I'm going to tie that or set it around the top, and then I'm just going to pull it tight. And then I'm going to clip it a little bit. You don't have to, but I just don't like it hanging out there like that. So there we go. We have our 2 sides and our closure. I'm going to go ahead and fold it this way because I like how this lines up right in the center. That's how I close it. And so now we just need to decorate. So on the inside in here, I have a pretty little tag, and I have, let's see, what else did I get? I'm going to put that pretty flower. Oh, I'm going to find a smaller one. I have some smaller ones in here. Here we go. Here's a smaller one. And one of these cute little numbers, just like that. And that's how I'm going to decorate that. Another good thing about using labels for your pockets is that it takes away a lot of the decorating that you have to do as well. Because if you notice, those are really pretty there. Here we go. There. Isn't that cute? Now we just need to do the cover. And since I'm going to fold the longer one over and the shorter one on top, I'm going to decorate the shorter side and then put something really cute over here. So for that, I'm going to go ahead and grab another number. And I think I'll use a butterfly from my bucket. I guess I should pull this over here so you can watch me dig too. That would be kind of neat, huh? So you can see what I'm doing. I've got these fuzzy cutted butterflies. Yeah, just like that. Isn't that cute? So I'm going to put this number on here again. Now my butterfly, I want it three-dimensional, so I'm going to fold its wings right along its side of its body so that when I flip it over, I have this nice little flat spot of its body where I'm going to glue it on to my tag. There. There, look at that. Look how quick and easy that was. Look how cute. One last step, we have some tabs to put in. And we'll put those right inside. Now by cutting that down, it allowed us to have some room to put some tabs in. These tabs I keep all cut out already, ready to go in a little jar. And so that way, and I make them out of all different kinds of things. Like this one is cardstock. This one's actually wallpaper. You can see it on the back. And this will have enough room for two. So I'm going to go ahead and put one on this side. And if you notice, by just putting the little bit of glue down the center, it gives you enough room to glue your tab in afterwards. So I'm just going to glue this down real quick. And then the other one is going to go up towards the front. And I will probably put it here. I glued it a little too far over. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to gently lift this because I glued it too far over and didn't leave enough room. I didn't get it centered perfectly. So now I'm going to glue it down real quick again. And then I'm just going to re-glue that seam to the tab. So you can see what I did. I just lifted it just a little bit. And I'm going to tuck this all the way inside just like this and put the tab down. And now I'm just going to re-glue this just like that. And now I have two tabs. Oh, that was a little crooked. There we go. Now we have two tabs on our pockets, and our pockets open all the way. If you want, you could put these on before you glue them down, but it's not necessary. And there you have it, an expanding coin envelope that is so pretty. It would look cute as Happy Mail or just in a journal. But see how quickly that goes together? Okay, let me show you how we would do it in a mass make. Let's go back to the first step, which was the cutting. I'm going to put a couple of sheets together. And we're going to cut this at 5.5, and I'm going to go just a little bit over so I can trim those off. And so after I've cut everything, the next thing I would do is I would score everything. So I would take multiples of these, and remember the scoring is 2 inches, 4 7/8, which is the line just before the 5, and then 1 3/4, and then I'd go through and score all of the others just like that. At the 2, at the 4 7/8, and the 1 3/4. Okay, now that you've got all the main scoring done, the next thing to do is to cut off this piece right here. And you can either do it by hand or you can use your cutter. But you want to make sure that you get that one last piece off so that you can continue with your scoring. Now we're going to continue scoring. The larger sheet is a 1 inch across the bottom. And the strips are 3 inches, just like that. So we're going to finish scoring the other pieces, and then once we score these, we're going to cut off that piece. So one more time, it is 1 inch across the bottom, and 3 inches on the strip. Now that we scored all the large pieces and cut the smaller pieces, it's time to cut out the rectangles. So don't forget, we're going to cut out these rectangles just like this. And now we're going to miter these corners, just a small little triangle. Off the bottom, and then we're going to round those corners, just a little slight rounding, just like that. And we're going to do that to each one of the pieces. Great, now that we've got these all scored up, it is scored and cut, it's time to score the smaller pieces. Remember that these were a 1/2 inch score, and I find that when you are mass making, it's easier to do all of one step at a time. So I wouldn't switch from this and making them individually, but doing all of the production at one time in a methodical order seems to make it go quicker. So when I'm done with this, I'm going to go ahead and finish scoring these smaller pieces real quick, and then we're going to trace the top pieces. We need to make that tab on the top. See how quickly it goes when you do them all at the same time? Thought I'd show you on this little one how you can make it through quite a few pieces at once in one sitting. There. Now we're going to take the lid And I'm going to do it on the, oh, no, they're both dark. I'm going to line this up. Oops, I hope you can't see my head. And I'm going to go ahead and trace that round shape on, and then I'm going to trim it. All right, we finished our upper lid, excuse me, our upper lid. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold these in half now. And we're going to make the circles for the closures. I really like this project because there's not a lot of waste. And remember, you just fold that last piece of scrap in half. And punch out 4 circles so that you can glue those circles together. Just like this. And just so you're aware, I'm going to do the opposite side this time so that I have a little bit more contrast. When I did the first sides of these, I did the bold print, this larger print on the outside. This time I'm going to fold it so I have the smaller print. And then I like for all my prints to match. So instead of going with the contrasting opposite, I'm just going to go ahead and glue the lighter sides to the outside. So this darker color that was the bold print is going to go on the inside this time. Just like this. I will finish those all up and be right back. Now that we have a nice little set of our envelope pieces ready to go, the next step is to start with our accordion fold, our book pages. So let's get those ready. I have 24 sheets here, and I'm going to repeat the fold one more time, just a little over halfway, and then halfway. And we're going to do that for 24 pages, and then when we're done with that, we're going to glue. So then we're going to come back, and I don't think that one's right. I'm going to refold this one. There we go. That feels a little bit better. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take our glue and run it down the inside strip. I left the lid off of that and it got a little dry. And just fold it down. Inside strip. And fold it down. Easy. There. Now that all 24 pages are done, we're going to take each page and fold it in half. And then because I'm using the same book pages from the same book, I know exactly how they're going to fit. So I'm just going to go ahead and fold, trim, and glue. Remember, this is a step where if you wanted to, you could actually even take your tab and glue it on before. going to show you what that looks like. You could glue it on before you glue all your center pages in and then glue it. Glue the center down. So there's that. I myself like to wait until the end just so that I'm sure that I get them to line up properly. But that's what it would look like if you decided to do it beforehand. I'm going to wait until the end just because I want to make sure that I get them all lined up right. But just to repeat, that step is to fold in half and trim. Just like that. Real quick, I just wanted to mention that just in case you don't have this little line to go ahead and cut by, you can always cut your first piece to the proper size and then just set them up next to each other and use it as a guide for cutting. That way your pieces are the same height and the same width. Now that we have all our book pages trimmed and glued, it's time to glue them all together to make our accordion pockets. So don't forget, we're going to glue a little bit at the top and a little bit at the bottom, and both of those are to hold them together so that when we pull them apart, the top expands completely, but the bottom stays intact. And that's because we don't have anything that's really going to hold it together, and we don't want this piece flying open. So there's one. Remember, just a small piece at the top, a small piece at the bottom, and then line them up so that the tops are all even. And there you have it. Accordion fold pockets. Oops, that one, I pulled it apart too soon. There we go. Okay. Wow, look at that pile. 12 all done. All of these nice little accordion pockets ready to be put into their envelopes. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the bases and fold them and add the top flap. So here we have our pieces, and I'm going to make sure that I get the light side or the smaller print this time. And we're going to fold them all like that. And once we have our matching pieces, we're going to test and make sure it sits right on the inside like it should. Then we're going to glue it down. And don't forget, you don't want to glue it all the way to the top. You want to make sure that you leave a little bit of space for wear and tear, so that it doesn't pull apart as well. And just like that. Now we have folded pieces, and there we have our little coin envelope. We're going to do that to the rest of the pieces. Show you one more time. We're going to take one of our pieces and fold them in. Just like that. And then the flap, we're just going to fold down, make sure that it fits in there nicely. If it doesn't, see, this one's a little tight. I'm going to just go ahead and close this down, and I'm just going to trim off ever so slightly. And now it fits perfectly. So now I'm just going to glue and line it up. There we go, because I want to make sure that it fits in there nice so that it doesn't get caught when I fold it. Just like that. There. And we're just going to do that to the rest of our pieces. So here we've got all of our bases all ready to go. And now we're just going to add our accordion fold envelopes, our accordion fold I can't talk today. Pocket. And we will do that for each one. This one has a line that goes all the way down the center because we want to anchor it really well. Remember not to put it way down at the fold. You want this to be able to come up over the top of it. And we will do this to each one until we've reached the end. These are just going together so quickly. Look how nicely this is all coming together. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put in the pocket. We'll start with the long pocket on each one. And then move over to the other side and put 2 small pockets. So here's the long one. Don't forget you're going to put it down real close to that fold, just not in the fold. You want to make sure that you give this plenty of room to move. When you put this one in, when you put the smaller pocket in, I'm going to use my punch and I'm going to make a thumb hole, just a little tiny thumb hole on this one, just so that it looks like a pocket. I didn't do that very well. Came out a little crooked, but that's okay. A pocket is a pocket. So to make that look intentional, when I put the one on the bottom, see how that, here I'm going to show you. See how I got it off to the side here? So to make that look more intentional, when I put the bottom pocket on, let's see. I will put it off to the side on the other side. And that way it looks like it was intentional to put them off to the sides. Just like that. And then I'm going to put the center decoration in. Remember we had the pretty soap label, the French soap label, and then down in the corner we had the upper corner we had a number, and then I'm going to check to see what we had on the bottom corner. There we go. On the bottom corner, we had the little round ephemera piece. So I'm going to look for those small round pieces. Oh, here we go. We'll put this little butterfly. He's cute. We'll put this little butterfly. And then before we close it up, I'm going to go ahead and put all of these on first. So there we go. Let's do another one real quick. We'll put a long pocket. There we go. Yeah, that one will be nice. We'll put a long pocket. and then 2 shorter pockets on the right side. So there's that pocket. And then let's see what we've got for the other side. I have this one that says filed. Let's see if I can get this one a little bit better. Yeah, that one looks much better. I just had to take a second to do it properly. There we go. We've got this one. And now we'll put a pretty butterfly on the bottom. Let me make that a little bit bigger. That kind of didn't get in there very well. There we go. There. That one goes over the edge just a smidge, so I'm going to go ahead and trim it down. There we go. And now we're going to go ahead and put a soap label. A small circle in the corner, in the lower right corner. And a number. Perfect. Look at that. Oh, these are going to come together real quick now. All right, look how our yummy pile is growing. It looks so marvelous. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put in the tabs before we start working on the closure. So let me choose a few tabs and we'll get working. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go ahead and put tabs in this one. Let me push these back so that you're not distracted. There we go. So we're going to put this one in the back. Oh, and that one's already opened up. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put it on this opposite side in the back, since see how the paper's already come undone. So I'm going to go ahead and just take advantage of that and put it right here, and then I'm going to glue this back down. There we go. And now all I have to do is the one in the front. And we will put that on this pocket right here. And look, oh, it fits perfect. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and glue this on the front pocket. Oh, I like how this, I dropped it. Oh, sorry. Here we go. Okay. I dropped it in the trimmings. There we go. Now we've got that really pretty plum in there. Perfect. And so I'll continue with that and do the rest of these. Oh, let me do one more. I'll do this one on camera. How's that? We'll do this one. And I'm going to go ahead and put this one in the back. There we go. And I'm going to set it right here inside. And I'm going to have to pull that up a little bit just to get it to lay flat. There we go. And I'll glue that right back down. There. So now we've got that side done. And now to do the front one. I'm going to do this metal looking tab. And there we have it. I'll glue this back down. There. Let me fix that tab. I'm not exactly sure I like it like that. Oh. There. There we go. And now I'll just go ahead and finish the others. Fabulous. Now that all of our coin envelopes have their tabs put in, we're going to go ahead and work on the closure. So just like we did before, I am going to take 2 of the little discs that we've already covered, that we've already glued together, sorry, not covered, but glued together. And I'm going to find the center, or where I want to set it, and I'm going to go ahead and poke a hole, and then insert a brad. Little miniature brad, actually. These are mini ones. They're so cute. I love them. So there's one. And then remember, because we are not sliding anything in or out, we don't need to cover the backs of those. And now I'm going to pull this all the way up here closer to the top, just in case I decide to put some lace or something on the edge. And I'm going to stick the hole right through the center. And now I'm going to insert the brad. And there we have the discs for the policy closure. And then I'm just going to take a piece of embroidery floss, and I'm going to make just a loop at the top, one of those adjustable loops, and I'm going to slide it right over the top of the top disc on the top flap, making sure it goes right underneath that disc. Then I'm just going to hold on to it and tug until it's nice and secure. And clip. And now my closure is secure and on my envelope, leaving just the decoration on the front to finish it. So let's go through one more, and I'll show you how we did it, and then I'll finish them off. So once again, oh, there they are. I will take 2 of these little discs. The first one is going to go on the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and center it and poke my hole through. And grab my brad. These things are so tiny. They're kind of hard to get a hold of. And I'm going to secure my brad. There we go. Bottom one's done. And now I'm going to do the top. So it's going to be in the center, closer to the top. Remember, that's just to give way for decoration. If you're not going to put anything on the edge, you might want to center it. But you don't have to. You can leave it just like this as well. And now I'm going to take my embroidery floss, create a loop, slide it around the disc. And then just give it a tug until it tightens around the brad. I'm going to trim the little tail. There we go. And now it's ready to have the cover decorated. There we go. Oh, isn't that cute? Okay, I'm going to finish the rest and be right back to cover that, to decorate the covers. Okay, so here we have our stack of coin envelopes that are expanded with wonderful pockets and places to tuck and hide things. The last thing we're going to do is decorate the fronts. So I have chosen a couple of ways that I'm going to decorate the front. The first way is that I'm going to put the long side in and then the short side over the top, and then we're going to decorate the short side. So for this one, I think I'm going to go ahead and show you how to use these lovely little Victorian ladies. Aren't they cute? So the first thing is you want to make sure that her head isn't covered. So I'm going to pull her down like this and cut her skirt down. And then I'm going to find something pretty to put behind her. Maybe something like this. I'm going to bring it right down here. And I'm going to clip it right about there. There we go. And just because I want her to be seen when the lid is closed. I don't mind if her skirt isn't, but I do want her face. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some glue on her now. And I'm going to glue her directly on top of that. If you notice, the reason why I did this was so that her head would pop. You could actually see her face now. I haven't inked too much today, but I'm going to just ink right on top of her real quick because I don't like how the white is showing through on her edges. And so that little bit of ink will just help hide where I didn't fussy cut real well. So there's that side. And now for the additional side, I'm going to go ahead and put one of these beautiful little flowers, just like that. And notice I'm not lining them all up. This one's going to come down a little bit lower because I don't want all the images in a straight line. And then I'm going to pull out my tiny tags. And we'll take one and just glue the little number right there. Just like that. Now before I close her up, I want to put some lace on this one. So I'm going to pull out this peachy pink color lace and my Fabri-Tac. And I'm just going to run a bead of Fabri-Tac right along the edge. And then I'm just going to place my lace, making sure that my end, I want to make sure that my end really gets glued in there because I don't want it to fray. And then I'm just going to ease it around the lid. There we go. There we go. Now I'm going to cut it right where I want it to end. And I'm going to make sure that I get that all closed down in the glue as well. There. And now all that's left to do is to close it up. There we go. And we have one finished. So the remainder of, I'm going to do 6 like this, and 6 of them, 2 more of them will have lace around the lip, and the others will not, but they'll be the same kind of thing with the lady, and she'll either be on the left side or the right side. They may switch sides depending on how they're facing. These are the gals that I have. And so as you can see, some of them are facing different directions. These are all facing to the right, and these gals are facing to the left. So that will determine on which side I decide to put them on. And 3 of them will have lace and 3 of them will not. And then the others will look like my butterfly. And I'll show you what the butterfly looks like again. And I will put some lace on the butterfly on 3 of them and lace not on 3 of them. And so this is what they'll look like. Let's go ahead and do another one just for fun. I love this purple one, this deep purple, this plum color is really pretty. I'm going to put the cover down. There we go. Let's see. I think maybe this one's going to be a butterfly one, and I'm going to put some really pretty white lace on this one. So I'm going to clip this a little bit closer. Okay, so on this side I'm going to find a little number, and I'm going to put the number down. Let's see, that one, or maybe... Ooh, I like this one because this one has a little bit different color to it. Just like that. Notice how I'm putting it over closer to the right side, not really centering it, because I'm going to put the butterfly down here. So I really want a butterfly that's going to kind of pop. So I'm going to try a couple. So I think the pink one kind of gets lost. Ooh, but that one's really pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and crease around the body of my butterfly. There. That's where my little butterfly is going to go. Now I'm just going to put the lace around the edge. So I'm going to put another bead of Fabri-Tac and then I'm going to set my crocheted lace right along the edge of this. Just taking care to make sure that I get that the top piece is really stuck in the glue. There. And now the butterfly is done. Oh, isn't that cute? There we go. And let's do one more lady without lace. So that way we've done 2 with lace and 2 without. Okay. Okay, let's do this gal. She's really cute. I'm going to cut her down a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to find something really nice to put behind her. Oh, I kind of like ooh, but I want it this way because I want the number. I really like the number. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue it. And then I'm going to trim it. Just like that. There we go. And I'll glue her down. Notice she's the only one that I'm inking, and only because I don't like those raw edges on people. I don't know why, but I just don't like the way that white edge looks, especially around their face. So I'm just gonna kind of touch her up a little bit. There. And now we're gonna put, oh, that's a pretty butterfly. We'll put this butterfly here. I must have really liked this butterfly because it's very similar to that one. And then a tiny number. Oh, I like the number 4 here. And I'm going to set it off to the side just like that. There. That's nice. There we have it. Well, let me get my desk cleaned up and we'll take a look at what we've done today. Okay, my friends, let's take a look at what we did today. Today we made policy closure, coin envelopes, if you can even believe it, and they open up. Yes, they open up and they expand into these beautiful little pockets. We have some pockets. We cut down our build time by using labels for some pockets. We used book pages to create these marvelous little accordion fold pockets with some tabs. We just made a really lovely little organizer for whatever you need, and they'll be great inside journals or to use as gifts in Happy Mail. Who wouldn't want to get one of these little guys? Oh, I just think they're adorable. And who knew that a coin envelope could become this, right? So we made 2 that had the butterflies and 2 that had the women that we decorated. And then let's take a look at the others that I finished off screen. Here are the others. There are 2 of the butterflies without lace and 2 of the butterflies with lace. And then we have 2 of the ladies without lace and 2 of the ladies with lace. Vintage gals with lace. Aren't those great? Aren't those beautiful little envelopes? And who knew you could do all of this out of 6 pieces of cardstock, double-sided cardstock, right? And book pages. They just came out lovely. Well, that's it for today, my friends. Thank you so much for spending creative time with me. I enjoyed it immensely, as I usually do. Don't forget, I'll be back Saturday with more Math Make March. And until next time, go and create something magical. Bye-bye.